Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1718B, and today's date is November 18th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Think Projection Time is Up, Haiti Op Underway? Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk to all the Trump supporters. Noble Gold has just released a 24-karat solid gold commemorative Trump 2020 Freedom Coin, and it's bound to be a collector's piece in years to come. If you know of Noble Gold, you know about the silver version of this coin. I discussed it before, and you found that on TrumpCoin2020.com. But here's the thing. The silver one has been so popular that Noble Gold was actually asked by their clients if there was a gold one. The demand for these has been staggering, and I have to tell you, there's now a waiting list for them. Now, I can read all the different stuff here about it, but it's better if you actually look at it. And if you're a Trump supporter and you want to own one of these, forget about the investment value. Right now, if you get on their waiting list, they are currently discounting the coin over $50 per coin, which is an incredible savings for this commemorative coin. So to get on the waiting list and reserve yours, go to TrumpCoin2020.com to secure your coin. The link is at the bottom of this video. To make it a lot easier, all you have to do is click on it. So get on the waiting list. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, what have we seen in the last couple of weeks? Well, we've seen election fraud out in the open. Remember, Trump said they were all in the spotlight right now. We had Brenda Snipes. We had other areas out in Georgia, Texas, where many people were caught on video showing them unloading, loading boxes into private cars. We have affidavits. And it shows that there is election fraud. Now, this was allowed to happen so they can gather the evidence. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what we've seen and what we've seen out in the news. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes. And we know that Brenda Snipes, she was, making up ballots, finding ballots, and the whole thing has come down around her. And when we look at the situation, we see that she's going to be in a lot of trouble. So are a lot of other people. There's been many, many arrests already. So what are we seeing? Well, on Saturday, the volunteers started sorting about 22,000 undervotes and overvotes in the Florida election. That came to a grinding halt when lawyers found thousands of overlapping ballots, which clearly showed a vote in the agricultural race, but were fuzzy in the Senate race. Now, of course, Brenda Snipes is out there, and she's saying that, everyone is attacking her, and it's racism that we're seeing the mistakes, the chaos in the election. So it seems like the deep state likes to fall back on the term racism, and this has nothing to do with racism. This is about counting votes, not creating votes, not faking votes, not signing ballots, but doing your job. And in the past, we know that Brenda Snipes, there's been judges and others that have ruled that she was in violation. And I still say, why is she in this position? I think after all of this, in 45 days, come December, I think she will not have a position. I think she'll be removed. Because of what? Election fraud. And we're going to see a lot of changes happen around the country. We see right now the mainstream media, they are in full attack mode. They are attacking the inner workings of the Trump administration. The mainstream media is trying to show that the administration and Trump's relationship within his cabinet, they are in chaos and everything is falling apart. Trump tweeted out today, the New York Times did a phony story as usual about my relationship with Vice President Mike Pence. They made up sources and refused to ask me, the only one that would know, for a quote. I can't imagine any president having a better or closer relationship with their vice president than the two of us. Just more fake news, the enemy of the people. And this is what they're doing. They're pushing their agenda on all fronts. Why are they doing this? Because they know what is coming. They're getting prepared. Think projection as we go through this. Right now, Chuck Grassley made an announcement. He tweeted out the following. Now with Sessions out as AG, and President Trump endorsing criminal justice reform, I expect the Department of Justice to support the bipartisan, tough on crime, fair First Step Act, especially since acting Attorney General Whitaker told me he would support it if Trump did. So Grassley waited for the acting attorney general, which was part of the plan, to put in place his new Criminal Justice Reform Act. Now, we know that Q told us that the Senate was the key. That's what they were going after because they can control the Department of Justice, the FBI, and all the investigations were going to be moved to the Senate, away from the House. They were going to be in control. Now, we see that Judiciary Chairman Goodlatte wants Comey and Lynch on the record prior to his exit. And right now, Bob Goodlatte is discussing turning over the Department of Justice FBI probe to what? The Senate. Now, we see that everything is going to be moved in this direction. And if we really look back at what has happened here, the deep state, they tried to push their agenda and they tried to capture the House fully, which they did with election fraud. And they tried to capture the Senate fully with election fraud. That has failed. They weren't able to do this, and we know that Q gave us the number 53 to 47, so Trump and the Patriots, they still have control over the Senate. And this is exactly what was planned. Now, after this election fraud and all the evidence is gathered, there's going to be a report that's going to be released in mid-December, and hopefully a lot of these seats are reversed. This is what Q has been telling us. And we know that all of this was in preparation for the unsealing of the indictments, the declassification of the FISA. This is why the deep state was pushing so hard. And they didn't care if people saw the election fraud because they thought they were going to be able to pull this off. Because if they didn't pull it off, they knew they were doomed no matter what. And this was their Hail Mary to try to get in what they needed to do. And it didn't work. And they're going to fall flat on their face. Because now they do not have control of the Senate. And soon they might not even have control of the House. So they know what's coming. And I think this on Friday we mentioned about Assange, where all of a sudden the deep state, they said it came from the Department of Justice, where this just happened to slip out that there was a sealed indictment against Assange. And it was leaked out to the mainstream media. Now this was a planned strategic move by the deep state because they know what's coming. They're trying to use projection to head this off because they know that once the declass comes and the sealed indictments are unsealed, they needed to put something out there to counter all of this because remember, Assange dumped Clinton's emails, dumped Vault 7, and much, much more. So when we start to look at this, you can see what they're doing. They're protecting themselves. Now, Galactic Pill tweeted out the following. Could the sealed indictment be for this in 2011 and not the events surrounding the 2016 election? If so, that means whatever information Assange defense has on 2016 is likely being dangled as leverage in whatever deal making is being attempted. So right now, if we read the link that Galactic Pill gave, it says leaked chat logs on hacks may be part of the case against Julian Assange. This was back in December of 2011. And I believe they're trying to say there's a sealed indictment against Assange with these chat logs. But in these chat logs, it never mentioned Assange. And this had to do with, the dumping of emails and everything else. So I think they're trying to use this as leverage, and I believe it has already failed. Now, the mainstream media, as we can see, they are using projection to head off what is coming. Because Q told us what to be ready for. Post 2478. Let the unsealing begin. Let the declass begin. Let the world witness the truth. We, the people, justice under the law. So the mainstream media, right now, they publish stories that Mueller has sealed indictments ready to be unsealed. Now, isn't this amazing? Q, for a very long time, and many people out there, many Annans out there, have been counting the sealed indictments. And all these sealed indictments were put up, and the mainstream media, they were saying that that was a conspiracy. That's ridiculous. There are no sealed indictments. And then all of a sudden, out of ABC News, it says that Mueller has sealed indictments ready to be unsealed. This is what they put out there. An unusual high number of sealed criminal indictments have been added to the federal court docket in Washington, D.C. since the start of 2018, why some wonder if they could be from Robert Mueller. Now, this is kind of odd because they said this was a conspiracy, and all of a sudden Mueller has come up with these sealed indictments, which are going to lead absolutely nowhere. And if you think about these sealed indictments, what are they trying to push out there? That these sealed indictments are against Trump. Well, we know they're sealed indictments, but guess what? It's not going to be taking down Trump. It's going to be taking down everyone else. Now, I want to go back to Post 2171. This was on September 12, 2018, where Q put up defined projection. And I just want to read the definitions that Q put up there. The attribution of one's own ideas, feelings, or attitudes to other people or to objects, especially the externalization of blame, guilt, or responsibility as a defense against anxiety. And then Q says define psychological projection, a theory in psychology in which the human ego defends itself against unconscious impulses or qualities, both positive and negative, by denying their existence in themselves while attributing them to others. So today, Trump tweeted out the following, and he's basically sending a message. No corrections are needed on this tweet. So funny to see little Adam Schitt. Yes, it wasn't Adam Schiff. He put Schitt talking about the fact that the acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker, was not approved by the Senate, but not mentioning the fact that Bob Mueller, who is highly conflicted, was not approved by the Senate. So Trump purposely made a typo and said Schitt instead of Schiff. Typos aren't accidents. They're made on purpose. Now, there are two options here of why he did this. And there might be more later on, but this is what the Annans are looking at right now. TT equals false flag. So they're saying before there were two Fs, there are two Ts, and there might be a false flag in the next few days. Another Annan suggests TT meant tick-tock. Because if we look back on post 325, Q back then said Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country. So by doing these types of tweets, it serves two purposes. Annans receive the message, and it is kept in the news cycle so everyone sees it, projecting this out there. And we can see that the mainstream media will make fun of it. They will take his tweets, make fun of it, but this is what he wants. He wants it out there. He wants people scratching their head. Why did he say this? Look, he made a typo. But they're reading it, and it's going into their subconscious. Now, in post 325, Q did say that Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country. Now, before being appointed to the committee in 2015, Schiff served on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the House Select Intelligence Oversight Panel on the Appropriations Committee. Schiff was also one of the top Democrats on the House Committee investigating the 2012 attack on Americans in Benghazi, Libya, and used the position to decry the investigation as a political maneuvering. Schiff was one of many who were wired directly with the Awans, the Awan brothers. So Representative Schiff congressional career is aided by Soros finance groups, and he is a traitor to the United States. Now, Schiff did respond to Trump and said, "Wow, Mr. President, that's a good one." Was that like your answer to Mr. Mueller's question, or did you write this one yourself? So remember, if Mueller goes, Schiff is going to go. Schiff is hoping that Mueller, continually protects him. And we need to remember, these individuals, they're feeling very comfortable because they feel like, okay, we have the House now, I'm in control, and we're going to start these investigations, and nothing's going to stop us this time, and we're going to get rid of Trump. Little do they know that something else is headed their way. Yes, let them feel comfortable in their position. Let them feel that they have the power. Let them become arrogant, and then pull the carpet from under them. That is what is going to happen here. Now, we know for a very long time the strategy of the deep state was to remove all weapons from every American. And they were hoping to do this. They kept on trying to do this with many, many different events. They even, during Obama's reign, John Kerry signed the UN arms deal treaty And they were hoping that the Senate was going to pass it, and then Obama was going to pass it, and the UN would be controlling who could have a gun and who couldn't have a gun, but it never got to the Senate. So they tried to push more and more laws. Now, Eric Swalwell is out there, and he tweeted out something completely amazing, which tells everyone what their real agenda is. Now, Eric Swalwell with Joe Biggs, they were going back and forth about this assault weapons buyback plan that they're trying to come up with. And Representative Eric Swalwell was defending this program, saying that if gun owners defy a legislative ban, the government has nukes. Wait a minute. Is he saying that if the American people don't do what they say, the government is going to nuke the American people? And Biggs was out there saying, so you're looking for a war against the American people? You're looking to start a war with them? And Representative Swalwell tweeted out, it would be a short war, my friend. The government has nukes, too many of them. But they're legit. I'm sure if we talked, we could find common ground to protect our families and communities. Now, Biggs responded by asking, so our government would nuke its own country in order to take guns. Wow. And Representative Eric Swalwell said, don't be so dramatic. You're claiming you need a gun to protect yourself against the government is ludicrous. But you seem like a reasonable person. If an assault weapons ban happens, I'm sure you'll follow the law. So they're trying to push the same laws that were out in Australia here in the United States. And their goal for a very long time was to remove the weapons from every single person. Because they thought, and I'm talking about the deep state, they were going to be in control for a very long time. And if they can get the weapons away from the people, guess what? It's easier to control them. And this is what they've done in other countries. But the problem is we have the Second Amendment. We have rights, which the government can't take away. And this has been their biggest problem. And what they were hoping later on, if that didn't work, and they started a war, and the United States lost the war, and another country won the war, what do you think would happen to the Constitution? So they had plan and backup plans, but they never expected Trump to win. They never thought Clinton would lose. Now, since I mentioned Clinton, there is something happening out in Haiti. We have Corey Lynn. She tweeted the following. U.S. forces have taken control of the international airport in Port-au-Prince in Haiti. She went on to say, I was receiving reports on this over the weekend while I was away, but there is more to the story not being reported on. So, the U.S. Embassy in Haiti, they put out warnings. Demonstration alert, U.S. Embassy, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, November 17, 2018. Security alert, U.S. Embassy, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Demonstration alert, again, on November 16th. So there was an alert put out on the 15th, the 16th, the 17th that demonstrations were planned for November 18th and possibly in different locations. Now, there's not much to this story, but reports are being trickled in. And again, they can't be confirmed to what is really happening, but I'm sure later on we'll have more confirmation coming in. Now, what people are being told is that certain regimes that are controlled by the Clintons down in Haiti, like drug traffickers, human trafficking, and things like that, they're being assassinated right now. They're saying that 50 people in the past 48 hours, they were gunned down. So, is this a cleanup operation? It could be. Remember, the people of Haiti have long been protesting the theft of $3.8 billion by the Clintons. And if we go back to post 1881, this is what Q has posted back in August 15th of 2018. And it says, read carefully. It's all in bold and it has brackets around it. Child trafficking victims who've spent their formative years servicing the carnal desires of men, often foreigners, who are 3, 4, 5, or 6 times their age. Their madam tells me that many of the customers are Western humanitarian workers who've come here to help rebuild Haiti after the recent run of natural disasters. And Q says, the more you know. Then under this it says, this is far from a vigilant group. Leading the team is ex-Department of Homeland Security Special Agent Tim Ballard, perhaps America's foremost human trafficking expert. The problem in Haiti is an international crisis. With so many children displaced or orphaned during the recent earthquake and hurricane, recruiters move quickly to sweep these children up. And the worst part of it is that in many cases the clients are foreigners who've come here to help. The NGO workers and the so-called humanitarians. Pure evil. Now, 3 brackets, all caps, bold, hunters, and then 4 more brackets. Become the hunted. The more you know. Then post 1884, August 15th. It says, Saudi Arabia access closed. Epstein Island access closed. Haiti access closed. North Korea, China, Russia, Cuba, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, Libya, Somalia, all access closed. But back then it said access was closed. So if access is closed and the investigations are going on, what do you need to do to cover your tracks? You need to get rid of your operation. And this might be happening right now. The Clintons might be getting rid of those people that might talk, or getting rid of their entire system that they had down there. And I just don't think it's the Clintons. I think it's many other people. So we'll have to keep an eye on this to see how this all turns out. Now, in regards to Khashoggi, it seems that the CIA came back and said, yes, we have proof now that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he was the one that ordered the killing. Now, Trump is out there saying this is premature. He's expecting to receive the full report on Tuesday, and we'll have to see how this all plays out. But I do believe that the deep state, they are pushing this so hard, the mainstream media, Erdogan, and the rest, to try to box Trump into a position where he does something to Saudi Arabia, because they know if he places sanctions, and yes, they place sanctions on certain individuals in Saudi, but if they place sanctions on Saudi, what happens to the economic system? It starts to fall apart. Saudi would pull away. They would look towards Russia, which they were eventually going to do anyhow. But again, this is down the road a little bit. We see other countries dropping treasuries, other countries looking at Russia and China, Africa looking at Russia and China. But I think what they were trying to do here, the deep state, is they were trying to speed this up. And if they placed the Trump administration placed sanctions on Saudi, pull back a lot of what was going on, because Saudi Arabia is the hub of the petrodollar system. Saudi Arabia holds a lot of paper of the United States. This was part of the plan. If Saudi Arabia then pulls away, what happens to the economic system? I don't know if people remember the movie Rollover, and this is when Saudi Arabia dumped everything, the economic system came crashing down, and that was a movie. But here, if they could actually make it happen, the system would fall apart, Trump would be blamed, and the deep state, they were hoping they would be in control. So we'll have to see how Trump plays this off right now and what they have planned. Now, out in North Korea, something very interesting. North Korea has deported an American citizen who admitted to have entered the country illegally, claiming to be working at the direction of the Central Intelligence Agency. So, North Korea detained a man identified as Bruce Byron Lawrence last month as he attempted to cross into the country through their northern border with China. He later told officials that he was under the control of the CIA. So, the CIA was still trying to push something in this area. So who is this individual? That is the big question. And why was the CIA telling him to enter illegally? Again, if you look at what the intelligence agencies do, they push their agenda any way they possibly can. And when you see countries holding U.S. citizens and detaining them, it's because they were running an op most of the time. So what do we see happening here right now? Well, the deep state, they are under the illusion they're in control. This is part of the plan. We read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. They feel powerful right now. They feel that Trump is weak. Actually, it is the opposite. And Trump is sitting there with the Patriots, looking weak, letting the deep state do what they do best. Fraud, corruption, push their agenda. They wanted this to happen so everything was exposed out in the open. Now people have been seeing all of this. And the mainstream media, the deep state, they are projecting out there all these different things, that Trump's inner circle is in chaos. He doesn't have a good relationship with Pence. They're saying that there are sealed indictments that Mueller is going to produce. And you see, they think they have the upper hand right now. But what they don't see coming is everything they've been gathering. Think about what the Trump and the Patriots have. They have all the documentation. They have all the evidence. They have the D-class of the FISA. They have all the sealed indictments. They have all the evidence with Clinton. They shut down all access points in all the other countries for drug trafficking, human trafficking, and everything else. The Patriots are in control. Just because you don't hear what they're doing or you don't see what they're doing, it doesn't mean it's not happening in the background. And this is how ops are really performed. They're done in secret, so no one knows what's going on. And when they come out, it's a total surprise. The deep state, they work in the opposite way. They let everyone know what's going on because it's all propaganda. They don't really have ops. So they let everyone know what's going on to make you think all these things are happening. And people are like, oh my God, look what's happening. They have all these sealed indictments against Trump. He's going to be pushed out. I mean, they've been saying this since the beginning. But everything else that's quiet, in secret, that nobody knows about, just like the peace talks in North Korea, this is when people are shocked. This is when people are caught off guard. And that's what Trump and the Patriots want. They want all of these individuals to be caught off guard. So when you're feeling strong, arrogant, you feel like you are in control, you are completely caught off guard when all of this comes down around you and you're not prepared. That's a strategy, and it's an incredible strategy. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.